playing this tournament, playing great. So it's going to be then...
the one thing that really, the one question I've got from this, from these last few games is, who is Machine?
Well,
I mean, he's been playing like a machine throughout this, and I mean, who is he? I've never heard of him.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we don't see many Warlocks play of this caliber. In Flame was obviously the one Warlock that stood above the rest, but Machine could definitely challenge him. Apparently, he plays on Rampage. aAa's found him, but you know, these two have been playing great, and aAa's has got himself some brilliant teammates here to take on the best European team from the global finals of Intel Extreme Masters Season 3. And remember, we'll still be giving away that t-shirt next week on the show for who guessed the winner correctly, and I don't think many people might have put down Sickology to win it. So it is going to open damage onto the pet, and this is a potential idea to kill the pet and stop any sacrifice going through.
Yeah, very different opener from aAa this time. They didn't go for the sap onto Sobad because he was very quick of getting in combat, and Hiss was round the back. Now a lot of damage onto aAa's. It's going to be a chain CC. It's a 5-point kidney. Will the CS come in? No, it doesn't.
And he is going to be stood in that anti-magic shield, so he's going to go back up to a decent amount of HP. He has already used Mark Skin, though. I don't believe he's actually used Trinket. He hasn't used his Trinket yet, but certainly a nice opener. But now it's going to be Hiss that's going to be under pressure. He gets a Pain Suppression, and he uses Cloak of Shadows on top of that. Looking for a target to get on. He does pick Sobad, the DK. Instantly goes into Frost Presence, which we expect nothing less for him. Looked like a blind was thrown out there. No, it wasn't. There's actually a poly, though, onto Machine that can't be removed. Machine also caught into a Fear. So Hiss maybe going to switch onto aAa's. Here we go. Here comes the switch that he wanted, and actually they've got aAa's in a position. They could get a kill. In comes the damage from aNawak. There comes a pill, and aAa's is going to finally live. He has improved counterspell. He goes into bear form, and Hiss is having a hard time getting on him. He is going to get healed up, so aAa's is fighting just versus the mage. There was really nice play from Phoenix there, putting a Frost Nova, but Hiss not unable to get back onto his target. Poly now onto the DK. This is the pressure they need. He needs heals. There comes the heals in. aNawak doesn't get control from a Strangulate because Sobad was in a poly. Hiss gets pulled back in and looking to get away. There was actually a blind now thrown onto the DK. In comes another chance to kill aAa's. He's got a life balloon. He's got Nourish Up. He's got a lot to keep him alive.
Yeah, another
Can they go through?
There was the CS. There was one global cooldown to get a life bloom off down to 1k. No, back up to 5k. Will they get him down?
Will they crit? Yes, they do. And it is going to be. But look at this. Hiss is going to go down low, down to 5k. Gets healed up. A Prayer of Mending actually looked like it. Prayer of Mending hit for 4.9. I'm not sure if that was the case, but certainly he got healed up, and in comes more healing through Penance. And also the only low man that could get a kill on is going to be Phoenix. So aAa really persistent for the kill onto aAa's. They did manage to get it, and it really helped. It really helped that they controlled that DK. Had they not have had that amount of control onto the Death Knight, essentially that kill would have never have come. They even had a poly and a Fear on top of him, and Devour Magic came in from the pet of Machine, and it only took away the poly, still leaving in Fear. No, it was actually on Machine. He was polyed and controlled earlier, so their control was brilliant. And aAa did somewhat deserve that kill, and Hiss was persistent, and I felt, Matthew, that was a good win for them. Both of these guys wanting to train one target they think they can kill. It is going to be Hiss here, looking to be the target of Sickology, and aAa's in the top right of your screen. So if you want to follow the healths, but be sure to watch what's being controlled over on aNawak, but also the control that they put on Sobad and Machine. And you can see the debuffs below the buffs, and also down here you can see you know, when the cooldowns are available and whatnot. Even trinkets are in there as well, so we'll have to see. So then Sprint's going to be used. Hiss is going to be moving somewhat away. The DK of Too Bad not being able to pulling him out of stealth, but certainly making him move. There comes the Death and Decay. Not going to hit anybody, unfortunately, but kind of hard to predict where the rogue will be. And looking for the perfect opener, aAa here. They've got their team back in base, and Hiss is really, you know, going to be like, okay, you know, this is the time to go. But now you can see that the Death Knight and the Warlock don't want to go offensive, but actually Phoenix is going to join the fight first. There comes a chain of ice. He goes into Nova. He's going to be polying most likely on top of the Nova debuff so bad, but it doesn't actually go through, so maybe not was going to be the plan. Improved counterspell onto Machine. Looked like he was casting Fear. And, well, still trying to get onto the target of Azox. So Azox getting away. There he is, just off to your left. Hiss not got his target yet. Will have to go head-to-head versus Sobad, but doesn't go. Actually, he's going to go versus Machine, as Sobad will be put into a poly that is going to be devoured off. Machine taking a bit of damage there, dropping down to half HP. The full dots are up onto Hiss. Gargoyle has been used. Here comes a swap onto Azox. Already Azox is low, half health. And had Hiss got onto Azox, that could have been a potential kill, but maybe lucky he didn't, because he actually dropped very, very low. He needed a pain suppression. A Penance Fall comes through and heals just before a Fear lands onto Analit. So Analit is out that Fear. He's still taking damage, having to go head-to-head with Sobad. He needs to get a poly onto him. It looked like he threw a blind.
Their control on Sobad hasn't actually. Their control on Sobad hasn't been quite as good this game, but now Phoenix finally cheaping him. He uses his trinket. Inflame did just sit in the full duration blind. He's come out of it now, and we're not clear who aAa are going to focus. But of course, for Sickology, Hiss is still going to be the main target. Uses his Cloak of Shadows.
And yeah, definitely, sorry about it, definitely got a chance to actually open up on him. In comes an improved counterspell on top of a kidney.
At the same
Can they get
time?
a kill? Everyone's going to be nuking him. In comes the PPP trinket that will heal him up for 3k. And Hiss is taking a lot of damage. Phoenix is going to be feared. Analyt's out of mana. And that was all they needed to do. And the Azox went into the starting area over here when he was down to about 2k mana. He did use Life Bloom. It did stay up. So it's going to be Runes of Lordaeron. Score going to be 1 apiece. aAa apparently have respect Analit. So I'm not sure how they've what they've done there. Analit going to be put in chains of ice.
Could be tri-spec, you know. And if they did that, then they
lose penance, which is too much.
Definitely.
All right, so Azox put into a kidney. Fireball coming on top, taking a decent amount of damage. He's going to get a big heal up on a Swift Man for 4.7k. At the moment, Analit is going to be the target. Switching over to Analit now, how he's handling situation. Hasn't used pain suppression at the moment. In comes a Divine Hymn. That's going to be all clean and will be healed off nicely. Gargoyle going to be used onto Hiss. There comes the pain suppression that Hiss needed. He's going to vanish and try and get a reopen up, and actually has to run away from the damage at the moment. That leaves Analit somewhat in a bad situation. They aren't going to switch onto him. He's going to Will of the Forsaken out of that fear. He's going to get feared off, so maybe a trinket used here, but I mean, Hiss is going to go down. And actual fact, they used a Death Coil onto Hiss to stop him from using defensive cooldowns and got a kill. And I wasn't sure where the pressure was. There was no real pressure from the team of aAa. Looking at the damages, Death Knight 65k. When a team knows you're coming in to train somebody, they really set up for it. And sometimes they set up for it too well that you should actually just switch, because sometimes he'd just end up hotting himself and running with only a care in the world for himself, which is I'm talking about Azox. And then there's a potential of a good switch. Now, I'm not sure a team that playing this well would ever leave, he would ever leave another teammate open, but certainly there's a possibility, and maybe Machine should be somewhat the target. I know it's hard to get a kill for this RMP here, but they've done it once, and yes, they killed Azox, but certainly, even if they create a cross kill, something could come of that, but certainly maybe not Druid Death Knight versus Mage Priest would be a very suitable 2v2 scenario. All right, so we, unless they can, you know, arcane it and get the Druid down with DK and polys, but...
So Hiss is going to be the only man from aAa who's ventured outside of those gates. And he's just creeping towards Azox, got him targeted, opens up straight away, no sap whatsoever, gets Death Grips, gets Chains of Ice, and that is going to mess up their CC chain onto Azox at the start. Kidney does come in, but by this point Azox does have a fair amount of regrowths and life blooms on him.
Analit. Yeah, sorry, Strangle It on Analit is going to let Hiss drop down to about half HP. Sobad is not going to be the target. He did dip. Now he looks like he could be the target, although Hiss has still got Azox targeted, but he's stood over. So he's not actually hitting his target there, because he's just... There we go. And there comes another Death Grip. Hiss is going to vanish. He's going to get pulled out. And then it comes a Chains of Ice. We can see a Deep Freeze onto Azox. Maybe now switch onto somebody. Azox isn't going to leave his team, though, in by themselves. And, well, I mean, just the control here is really going to suggest that maybe Hiss is going to go down in the near future. aAa switch over to him. He's going to be put into a fear. Hiss, he's going to break it. Hiss, though, dropping really, really low. Strangulate is already being used, but they get a kill through a full Penance. They can out-damage Penance, that lineup, and that's ridiculous. But even if they didn't, it was azox's Cyclone that would have been the nail in the coffin had they needed it. But aAa were just going to lie down in that coffin. And, well, I mean, a 3-1 coming back twice from the lower brackets. Sickology are going to be the winners, and it was absolutely amazing play, and I felt Hiss just must be just screaming at the lineup that he just played, because his task was, I mean, I don't know if we saw Zom in his position, or if we saw DK, or if we saw someone else, but Hiss is a world-class, rogue, so I honestly felt that that was just too difficult, and it didn't look like he had the opportunities that he needed for his team to get the kills, and that was really because of Machine and, well, I mean, I'll say it, so bad as well.